The Old West is a time of legends, filled with notorious outlaws who sow fear into the hearts of their enemies. But among them, one stood out as the most cowardly, Billy Claiborne. He was there at the famous OK Corral Gunfight, but when he first started, he was the first to turn and run. His cowardice has become legendary, and it eclipses anything else he may have achieved in his short and violent life. In this video, we dive into the story of Billy Claiborne, the Old West's most cowardly outlaw. Remember to hit the like button because it helps us a lot. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell to not miss the upcoming interesting videos. Billy Claiborne, a member of the notorious Clanton Gang of Tombstone, Arizona, was an outlaw cowboy, miner, and gunfighter. William Billy Floyd Claiborne was born in Yazoo County, Mississippi on October 21, 1860. Claiborne was a young man raised with a passion for the Wild West. He worked as a cowboy for John Slaughter and, with him, herded cattle from Texas to the Arizona Territory in 1879. Upon arriving at Tombstone, Claiborne worked on mixers at the Charleston mines and as a slag truck driver at the Neptune Mining Company's smelter in Hereford, Arizona. On October 1, 1881, Claiborne argued with James Hickey at the Queen's Saloon in Charleston. Hickey drank heavily for 3 days and became agitated. Harry Queen, the tavern owner and witnessed the event. Claiborne shot Hickey in the cheek below his left eye, killing him instantly. More than a month later, on November 26th, the trial was convened, but only 4 jurors were present. A second trial was scheduled for May 11, 1882, but most of the defense attorneys did not show up. A new trial date was set for May 15th, but not enough jurors were found. Hickey was not well liked. When a grand jury was finally convened, Billy was found not guilty and released. In 1881, after William "Billy the Kid" Bonney was killed, Claiborne asked others to call him Billy the Kid. He is said to have killed 1 to 3 men who refused to call that name. Claiborne was also a heavy drinker and short-tempered. He frequented the local pubs, becoming friends with Ike and Billy Clanton and with Tom and Frank McLaury. On the morning of October 26, 1881, Ike Clanton, a known troublemaker, violated a city ordinance by carrying a rifle and revolver. At around 1 p.m., Virgil and Morgan Earp caught Ike off guard on 4th Street, and Virgil attacked him from behind, disarming him. The Earps then brought Ike before Judge Wallace, who was not in court at the time. Wyatt stayed with Clanton while Virgil went to find the judge. In the meantime, Wyatt meets Tom McLaury outside the courthouse. Suspecting that McLaury has a weapon, Wyatt confronts him, demanding to know if he wears heels. McLaury denied it, but Wyatt later testified that he saw a revolver in McLaury's right hip. As the town's vice marshal, Wyatt Earp often carried a pistol at his belt, as was customary at the time. Witnesses said Wyatt pulled a revolver from his coat pocket and used it to attack Tom McLaury twice, leaving him lying on the street, bleeding profusely. On the afternoon of that fateful day, tensions were high in Tombstone, Arizona. Ike's younger brother, Billy Clanton, and Tom's brother, Frank McLaury, go down into town and stop at a local pub. There, Claiborne told them about their cousin being beaten by the Earp brothers within the previous 2 hours. Enraged, Frank refuses to drink and leaves the pub with Billy, determined to find Tom and Ike. Although they knew they were not allowed to carry guns, Frank and Billy were fully armed when they found Tom and Ike. They stopped at Spangenberg's gun shop to buy ammunition. And although Ike wanted to buy a gun, the owner refused to sell him one after seeing bandages on his head. The McLaurys then left to collect money from the cattle they had sold, while Claiborne and Billy Clanton went to retrieve Clanton's horses. They all met at the OK Corral just minutes later. Witnesses overheard them threatening the Earps. Virgil Earp was informed by several citizens that the McLaurys and Clantons had gathered on Fremont Street, were threatening the Earps, and were armed. He knows he must act quickly to protect himself and the town. Meanwhile, Cochise County Sheriff Johnny Behan is hunting the cowboys, but not bringing them to justice. He is their friend and wants to protect them from the Earps. Virgil and Behan happen to meet at Hafford's saloon, and Virgil asks Behan to help disarm the cowboys. But Behan, always siding with his criminal friends, offered to speak to the Clantons and McLaurys privately to see if they would give up their weapons. It was clear that Behan had no intention of helping the Earps bring these outlaws to justice. Virgil soon learns that the cowboys are gathering on Fremont Street, threatening the Earps, and are armed. He knows that it is impossible for them to roam the town freely, and he begins to confront them. He's determined to fill his duty as a lawman and protect the people of Tombstone. At about 2:30 p.m., the Earps and Holiday found Frank and Tom McLaury, Ike, and Billy Clanton gathered near the front of an empty lot off Fremont Street, next to C.S. Fly's boarding house and photo studio. Behan said he tried to convince Frank McLaury to give up his weapon, but Frank insisted that he would only give up his gun after City Sheriff Virgil Earp and his brothers were stripped of their weapons. The Earps and Holiday head north on 4th Street and then west, down southwest of Fremont Street, looking for the cowboys. They pass through the back entrance of the OK Corral and then Bauer's Butcher Shop. Sheriff Behan saw the Earps and Holiday approaching. He left the cowboys and went to the attorneys, although he had repeatedly looked back nervously. Virgil later testified that Behan told them, "For God's sake, don't go down there or they'll kill you." Wyatt said Behan told him in Morgan, "I disarmed them." Behan later testified that he only said he went to see the cowboys with the aim of disarming them, not that he actually disarmed them. As tensions escalated, witnesses said that they saw the notorious cowboys gathering on the opposite side of the property. Frank and Tom McLaury, along with Billy Clanton, stood in a line, while Ike Clanton, Billy Claiborne, and a stranger named Wes Fuller were standing in the open space, halfway between the photo gallery and the next building on the west side. Suddenly, gunshots rang out, and chaos broke out. It's not clear who opened fire first, but in the meantime, Ike Clanton ran straight toward Wyatt, begging him to be unarmed and unwilling to fight. Wyatt was adamant, telling him, "Go to fighting or get away." In the end, Clanton chose the second one and escaped through the front door of Fly's Inn. Meanwhile, Billy Claiborne quickly retreated to the back of the grounds, then abruptly left. After escaping the OK Corral shooting, Claiborne's reputation declined. He testified at the OK Corral Spicer hearing, and then left Tombstone for several months. He found a job at the Globe Mine. Claiborne told a friend he was working double shifts to get enough money to go to Tombstone and kill Frank Leslie, who he blamed for the death of Johnny Ringo. Bill finally returned to Tombstone on November 14, 1882. On November 14, 1882, Claiborne argued with buckskin gunman Franklin Leslie when the gunman refused to call him Billy the Kid. Later that night, a drunk Billy returned to the pub and called Leslie from outside and got into a fight. That was the last mistake he would make. During the inevitable gunfight, Claiborne was hit by a bullet. As he lay on the dusty road, Leslie walked up to him, and Billy said, "Don't shoot again, I am killed." Claiborne was taken to the doctor by friends, where he died 6 hours after being shot. His last words were, "I saw him do it. Frank Leslie killed John Ringo." He is buried at Tombstone's Boot Hill Cemetery. Later, Leslie is said to have acted in self-defense and has not been charged. Please like and share if you find the video content interesting and useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below so as not to miss the upcoming interesting videos. Thanks for watching.